Let's bring in Melvyn Pun, CEO, Yoma Strategic Holdings, joining us here around the desk at the SGX to talk about the company's earnings. Also, a new partnership with Ayala Corporation of the Philippines. Melvyn, great to see you. Good morning and welcome to the show. So let's start with the Ayala deal. North of around about $240 million. This is big.
This is quite great.
Yeah, just announced it this morning, right?
That's right. Yeah. We just announced it. $240 million goes into the group, which is FMI, our sister company, as well as Yoma Strategic. Yeah. Yoma Strategic will get around $150 million at a valuation that is around 45 cents. Yeah. So that's a reasonable price for us. Okay. But I think the main thing is Ayala will be a long-term partner for us. Looking at what they've built in the Philippines, it's really quite impressive. Yeah. They have a pristine reputation, leading businesses, and that really just gives us a playbook for how to grow.
So this is interesting because we were talking about this offline a couple of seconds ago before we started the interview on air, and that is this is really a sort of a marriage of two dynasties. What's becoming a dynasty in Myanmar, yourself, your father, the empire, and also the Ayalas. I mean, you actually want to pattern your empire after what the Ayalas have already built.
Well, I see them as a great role model. Yeah. The reputation that they have, but the quality of business that they have, that's really something we're after. And my father and I always talk about a legacy that we want to leave behind. It's really about building the company, but building the country for our people. So they are as good a role model as anyone.
So how do you do that? How do you build that kind of legacy? I mean, obviously, growing your business, getting employment out into the country, yes, all of those sort of things. But what are the main aims that you want to achieve when it comes to that?
So the big picture is we model everything behind our mission statement, which is building a better Myanmar for its people. So everything that we do, we judge ourselves based on that tagline. And of course, it has to be financially profitable and everything else, but that's really what we're trying to get to. So if you look at our real estate business, we're building townships that are sizable, but these are communities that we would really want people to live in. And somewhat similar to Ayala, who's built this beautiful townships that is very suitable for the current population. Mm-hmm. If you look at our new partnership with them on the energy side, Myanmar has a huge shortage of power. So hopefully we can use renewable energy to really give clean energy cheaply.
So this is interesting. This is yet another deal, and it was announced earlier about, what, 30 million, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Initially.
And this is in micro power plants, and this is last mile distribution. What I'm curious about is, I know that the government in Myanmar recently raised electricity rates, right? Why go into this business, last mile distribution, closer or maybe even closest to the source, when because of higher tariffs and in a regulated industry, you could actually make more money if you were one of the main players?
No? So we will look to do it in stages. But the current micropower allows us to build distributed networks. So we're going to build thousands of networks very close to each village. And if you look at the Myanmar map, it's actually a pretty big country. It's very hard to build a national grid that suits the whole country. So we want to be very close to consumers, build to their needs, and then also scale it to their needs. And over time, we'll hopefully own a pretty big network of customers. And that fits in with the rest of our business. You know, if we can have a couple of million customers connected to us, then we can provide everything from financial services, housing, but also all the other consumer goods.
Go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to touch on that financial services side of the equation, because I find this particularly interesting. And of course, you've just had the Fintech Summit here in Singapore, where all of these banks and financial institutions have come together to talk about it. And we had a guest on the show who was saying, with the new players that are coming in the banks, they're not being judged on an equal playing field. That was the assistant central bank governor of Hungary, was saying they're not being judged on the same playing field. Where do you fit in when it comes to this and the solutions that you're providing?
Well, only 20% of the population in Myanmar has a bank account. So largely it's unbanked. So that's what we're focusing on. We have this business called Wave Money, which is a partnership with Telenor. That's become the dominant source of remitting funds. In fact, I think if you ask people about kind of fintech or financial services, Wave Money will come to mind. So we're transferring a lot of money within the country, and that is people doing very simple things. You know, workers who are working in the city but remitting money back home which is probably 3 hours away. So that's the start of our business. It's a very interesting fintech business. We made a profit within 2 years, which is unusual for fintech.
And the Ayalas have also invested in Wave, correct? And there's stuff that you can learn from them because they operate a very successful similar system in the Philippines.
That's right. So Ayala's investment into Yoma, and Yoma is invested into Wave. If you look at their GCash business, which is a partnership with Ant Financials, I think that's really done very well. So we would look to model after that and find a use case that would suit Myanmar users.
What is Ayala's expectation from the investment?
I mean, obviously, they want to make money.
Yeah,
if you look at if you look at the last if you look at the last 10 years, their market cap has grown substantially at a very fast pace. I would expect Myanmar to have a similar growth, and hopefully we can learn something from it. We can avoid some mistakes that they have made, but we can also really just leverage on their expertise.
So with, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just. So is it just a financial investment, or they are going to be strategic in every
It will
which
be very
way?
strategic. I think between the families, we have a very long-term view of the country and of the company. So we'll build this company together for long term. They will have a board seat. They will help us with capital allocation. There will be some key strategic businesses that we will leverage on their expertise. So real estate being one. A lot of the money that we'll raise will be deployed into real estate. We have this new project called Yoma Central, which is a city center project, mixed-use facilities, and that's something that we can really learn from Ayala. Energy on the power side, that's something we can do. The Wave money in terms of mobile financial services, and there are many other examples.
Wow, interesting. So after the series of investments by Ayala into Yoma, into FMI, et cetera, if I'm not mistaken, I think Yoma now, as well as FMI, valuations are north of $1 billion, correct?
That's right.
Those are just two of your units which are listed. Yoma here, FMI in Yangon. The rest of the business, though, power and everything else, is there, what is the long-term plan? Is it to list and to float them as well? Or?
Well, those are all held under the two listed companies. So our family view the two holdcos as the key holding companies for us. Okay. And the reason why we have two companies is because of regulation. There's certain businesses that needs to be in Myanmar and held by Myanmar citizens, mainly. So I think that's why we have the two holdcos. We would like to work with shareholders and basically have all our interests aligned with them.
Is there any big target in mind in terms of where do you see the collective size of the business to be with this investment 5 years down the line?
Well, I would look at Ayala as a playbook and hope to grow at a similar pace as them.
Wow.
Yeah.
But no numbers.
No numbers.
Okay.
But as big as Ayala, I think, says a lot.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time
Thank
and
you.
your insights.